In the aftermath of World War II, as the world grappled with the devastation left behind, a new and covert battle began, one that would shape the modern era in ways few could have foreseen. The war was over, but a new kind of war, the Cold War, loomed large. Nations scrambled not only for political influence, but for the technological supremacy that would determine the future. Amidst this silent competition, one of history's most controversial operations unfolded, known as Operation Paperclip. This secret U.S. mission was designed to recruit the very scientists and engineers who had powered Nazi Germany's war machine. Men who had once served a regime responsible for atrocities on an unimaginable scale were now being courted by their former enemies. These individuals were not merely bystanders. They were instrumental in creating weapons of war, including the infamous V-2 rocket, which rained terror on Allied cities. Yet their expertise was deemed invaluable, so much so that the moral compromises required to secure their cooperation were swept under the rug. What would you do if the same minds that created tools of destruction also held the key to unprecedented technological advancement? This was the dilemma faced by the United States, and the decision they made would have consequences that reverberate to this day. As the Allies advanced through Germany in the final stages of World War II, intelligence officers were astounded by the technological marvels they discovered. Jet engines, advanced weaponry, and most notably, the V-2 rocket, a quantum leap in warfare technology, capable of delivering payloads across vast distances with terrifying precision. Developed under the leadership of Wernher von Braun, the V-2 rocket symbolized a new era of scientific warfare. The United States quickly realized that allowing such knowledge to fall into Soviet hands would be catastrophic. With the Cold War already simmering, the race to secure Nazi scientific talent began. Officially, the US government had condemned the atrocities committed by the Nazi regime, but behind closed doors, pragmatism overpowered principles. The directive was clear: acquire these scientists before the Soviets could. The program initially operated under the name Operation Overcast, but was later renamed Paperclip, due to the paperclips used to attach sanitized biographies to personnel files. The Joint Intelligence Objectives Agency, JIOA, was tasked with identifying and recruiting Nazi scientists who could contribute to American military and technological advancements. Expertise was the primary selection criterion, with past affiliations and actions often overlooked. Hubertus Strughold, later celebrated as the father of space medicine, played a key role in developing life support systems for space missions. However, his past included overseeing experiments on concentration camp prisoners, exposing them to inhumane conditions to study the effects of extreme environments. Wernher von Braun, a brilliant rocket scientist, had been a member of the SS and used forced labor from concentration camps to build his rockets. Despite these troubling histories, both men became key figures in advancing American science and technology. To make these scientists acceptable to the American public and policymakers, their records were systematically altered. Membership in the Nazi Party was downplayed, and their involvement in war crimes was scrubbed from official documents. These men were relocated to the United States, given new identities, and placed in high-ranking positions within government agencies, universities, and private corporations. Their contributions were staggering, but the ethical implications of their recruitment were conveniently ignored. Wernher von Braun's expertise in rocketry became the cornerstone of NASA's efforts. As the chief architect of the Saturn V rocket, he played a pivotal role in landing a man on the moon, a crowning achievement of the 20th century. Hubertus Strughold's research laid the foundation for modern aerospace medicine, ensuring human survival in extreme conditions critical for space exploration. Specialists like Kurt Blohm, a former Nazi bioweapons expert, contributed to the US's biological warfare programs. Although his wartime experiments had been horrific, his knowledge was seen as indispensable. These achievements solidified the United States' position as a global superpower, but they came with a heavy moral price. While the United States was recruiting Nazi scientists, the Soviet Union launched a parallel effort known as Operation Paperclip. Unlike the Americans, the Soviets forcibly relocated German scientists and their families to the USSR. Among those taken was Helmut Guttrup, who played a significant role in advancing Soviet missile technology. This technological arms race would escalate into the space race, with the Soviets achieving a significant early victory by launching Sputnik in 1957, the world's first artificial satellite. Operation Paperclip was shrouded in secrecy, but over time, details began to emerge. Journalists and historians uncovered the troubling pasts of many of the scientists, leading to public outcry. One of the most controversial figures was Arthur Rudolph, who had overseen the Mittelwerk factory where thousands of forced laborers died. Despite his contributions to the Apollo program, Rudolph's Nazi past came back to haunt him in the 1980s, forcing him to leave the United States. These revelations sparked a national debate. Should America have prioritized scientific progress over justice? Critics argue that Operation Paperclip sent a dangerous message, suggesting that the ends justified the means. Can progress ever be truly celebrated if it comes at the expense of accountability? The debate continues to this day. The scientists recruited under Operation Paperclip left an indelible mark on history. Their work propelled humanity into the space age, advanced medical science, and strengthened national defense. However, their legacy is inextricably linked to the horrors of the Nazi regime. For many, the story of Operation Paperclip is a cautionary tale about the cost of progress. It forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about the compromises nations make in the pursuit of power. It also serves as a reminder that history is rarely black and white. It is often written in shades of gray. As you marvel at the achievements of modern technology, consider the hidden stories behind them. The rockets that took us to the moon, the advancements that shaped our future, all are part of a legacy born from both brilliance and darkness. Operation Paperclip is not just a story about science or war. It is a story about humanity's capacity for both innovation and moral compromise. It challenges us to reflect on the choices we make and the price we are willing to pay for progress. This story, like history itself, is one we cannot afford to forget.